head smooches. Head smooches for Allie. Hi, friends. How's it going? How are we doing? How are things? We have made the challenge. Hold on, sorry. I'm like trying to fix my lighting while I'm talking to you. Also, not the touch of Kayshurrr on my fucking sandwich. Listen! I fucking love pickles, okay? But not on this sandwich, not on this sandwich. Pickles do not need to go on everything, and this sandwich is one of those things that it just does not need to go on at all, ever. TK, hi. Captions don't know what Zwurb. Nope. Doesn't get it. But yeah, let me scroll on through and say hello to everyone. Fruity, Luna, Travis, Nem, Allie, TK, anyone who's possibly just hanging out. Hello, friends. How's it going? TK friend like TK Fire. TK friend. TK friend. Is that right? Does that work? Hey, it's Monday. Things are going on. I am very loud today, more so than normal. I'm still very tired. That will never change. I will always be tired. But I feel kind of refreshed, so that's nice.
That is not correct. Because according to the encyclopedia of...
Yes! Do it! Do the stream and also make it a command and or emoji. Please and thank you. If you need me to ever get you a sound clip of that, just let me know. But yeah, hi everyone. More Wytchwood today, and then we're gonna do some Evil Within this evening, which I am kind of excited about. I have been informed that there may or may not be. I'm just gonna keep playing with my wrist pad. Don't mind me. I have been informed that there may or may not be ammo issues in Evil Within, but we'll make do. At least I know, so I know to conserve. That's great. But yeah, it's Monday, my dudes. Ah! I'm just happy to be here, honestly. TK Freeze! Am I just gonna be screaming that all stream? Probably. But yeah, hope everyone's doing well. We did make the community challenge. The Sinner Sandwich has been achieved. I will make your grocery order. Try to get it in this week. And then we'll make that on stream. Let's shoot for Friday. Let's shoot for Sinner Sandwich on Friday. But I will make sure to give everyone at least a day's notice before it actually happens. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I need to say, and I don't think there is. Happy week. I need to stop messing with everything. Having these wrist pads is very nice and wonderful. Having them be free-floating on my desk is a problem because I will just play with them and putz with them, and I need to not. So that's great. I guess before we get started, that was a bad one. I lost my grip on it, so it was mostly just a rip. I hope you liked it, at least. Okay, yeah. I think I have everything set the way that I need it to be. So let's just hop on over here and tell Spotify to fuck right on off. I guess probably tell Wytchwood to come back play your music for me? Let's do that continue thing. We need to turn those confessions in to the blacksmith, the baker, and the candlestick maker. And then tell that cat to get on out. Weakly grasp it and gently tear. Pretty much what happened. No, my hand slipped. My hand slipped. I had to finally cut my nails last night. I had to trim them back, and I was very sad because they were so long and lovely. But I broke the nail yesterday, day before. Whatever. I was like, I guess I should probably fix that. So I don't know how to grab things anymore. Anyway, let's give this man our proof of the crimes. No, I don't need any more sodium from pickles. I don't need any pickles right now. Travis, what is with you and pickles? Also, yeah, Fruity, you monster. Fruity, you monster. I wasn't gonna say nothing, but since Allie started it, Luna, please, let's get that cat's confession in there. Chandler's cheeks flush a bright red, stopping and shouting at the cat's confession. Why, that yowling pest, that's my whole livelihood she's meddling with. You agree the baker's innocent then? Him? Looks like he didn't have a hand in this horrible crime. Those bread's still stale if you ask me. As long as you three put a stop to this ruckus, maybe we can put an end to this grudge after all. Keep my eyes peeled for that darned cat. She won't show her nose around here again, that's for sure. Hey, we did it. Sorry, I need chapstick. Always need chapstick. Never not need chapstick. Forever putting on chapstick. People and your terrible super auto pets. Honestly, I'm ashamed to know you. It's not true. I can't say that. I can't even joke about that. Well, ow. Well, have you got any evidence yet? Eyelash in my eyeball. Baker's brow arches in anger as he reads the cat's confession. That unrefined little urchin, how dare she tamper with my buns like that? Sir. You'll forgive the blacksmith then? Well, sure. Doesn't look like he was involved in this at all. Splendid. If you three can get along long enough, we can bring the real culprit to justice. I'm never gonna try super auto pets. You cannot... There's no amount of anything that will ever get you to get me to try super auto pets. Sorry. I guess I just won't be a cool kid then. That's fine. I don't mind. It's fine. Only evidence could possibly change my mind. Here's the cat's confession, my guy. Oh my god, seriously. I need this eyelash to go away. And it's not gonna. It lives in my eyeball now. The man's beady eyes go wide with anger as he reads through the paper. Why, that no-good cat, the whole market could have gone up in a big ball of fire. Joke's on you, Fruity. This is my channel, and Dota's allowed here. Take it you'll let the Chandler off the hook? Sure. Looks like he wasn't involved in this plot. Though I still don't care for his candles much. Excellent! Maybe with you three apiece, we can get to the bottom of this. Now that these three fellows have cooled down a bit, I better have a chat with that plump purple pony to figure out the best way to confront this swindler. I forgot about the unicorn. Also, hold on. I was gonna just, like, wait it out, but, we're gonna take a second. Limphorn the unicorn, yeah. This is not the scene that I wanted. We're gonna take a second so I can go resolve this eyelash situation, because I feel like I'm dying. And y'all can figure out the nonsense that you're doing in there. Have fun banning each other, I guess. Okay, I think we're good now. Sorry, it was not great. Hold on, I'm also gonna scooch the captions over just a little tiny itty bitty bit. My eyeball feels better now. It wasn't even an eyelash, it was a whole dang hair. Not a whole dang hair. I had a rogue hair, though, that was stabbing me constantly, which is why nothing was being resolved. It's fine now. We're good now. Hair disaster avoided. Oh joy, you're back. Did you find anything in those shops? It would appear your market is plagued by the mastermind schemes of the cat. Well, maybe not so masterminded. She did leave behind a bunch of clues for me to find. As though summoned, a furry-shaped somersaults into a nearby rooftop with a flourish. I see you're a fan of my genius accomplishments. Well, you're in luck. Soon I'll have this whole village at my mercy. Quickly, your magic horn. The unicorn shuffles its stumpy legs to get a better Stumpy, not Stompy. Unicorn shuffles its stumpy legs to get a better shot at the monologuing feline. With a flick of her tail, the cat disappears, leaving only her voice cackling in the air. You'll have to be faster than that, Slowpokes! Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm not very maneuverable in high-stress situations. Don't fret. We'll just have to make sure she stands still next time. I should be able to concoct a tantalizing kitty treat strong enough to keep her attention. I'll set it up by that big statue there. You just get ready to fire. Feline curio recipe. It's time to do a murder on a cat! How excited are we? I need a cat treat, witch's spice, and stuffed burb. What the fuck are all these? I need a pigeon beak, a mimic's toe, and blue feathers. I'm gonna need a lot of snap traps then. We need a lot of wicker work. This is fine. Also, Fruity, whenever it is that you go to destroy Luna on the battlefield, let me know. I would like to be there to watch you fight. To watch both of you fight. Let's go. We need to go to the forest. Because we need... Hey, do you wanna... There we go. Oh. Yeah, I don't want to be there, then. That's not for me. Let me know who wins! This is fine. It's all fine. You're right, though. I don't want to be there. Not the yawns. Hey, Dryad? Do you want to not do a stomp on me? I'm just trying to pick up some of these things. Please and thank you. Yeah, and I don't like TF2, or TF2, oh no. I don't like teamfight tactics. It's not for me. And if I can't play, then I don't care. We need so many sticks. So many sticks. Six sticks. Again, just let me know who the victor is, and I'll congratulate them on their well-deserved victory. We need blue feathers. And... what else? A mimic toe. Go ahead and make another skeleton key. Can I make a cat treat? I can! Beautiful. It's true. Just give me a forest Roomba and I'll come back and collect the sticks every so often. Literally, all it needs to do is collect sticks for me. That's it. Nothing else. Just sticks. Okay. It's fine. We've got enough for all the traps that we need. I probably don't need as many as I am collecting at the moment. But that's okay. I would much rather have a few too many than not enough. Get on there, bird. Thank you. Need one more. Great. Great. I like how it's still listing off everything that I've just crafted. Stick. But yeah, we need sticks. Always and forever. To the village. Let's go. Pigeons. We also need pigeons. Go! Go, pigeons, go! Great! We have beets. No sticks at home. We don't have sticks at home. I gotta get them myself. That's not what I wanted to do. I am using all of the wrong buttons because I've been playing games that are not this. That's fine. We still need a toe. Inventory, that's what I want. Let's put those away. And now to find us some mimics. Some very bad, terrible mimics. Ouch! What did you just steal from me? He got rid of one of my fireflies! Stop! Stop! Oh my goodness. Where are all the mimics when I need them? I thought there were a ton in the village. Or are they all in the market? No, there it is. I found him. Okay. Bad noises. That's fair. Yeah, no, you're right. They do be hiding. That is what they do. That is what they are known for. However, I need them to understand that I need them now. I need them to come out and say hello. Consider saying hello, Mimic. Please. Did I get a toe, though? I did. Does that mean I can make this now? I can. We're ready to kill a cat. Not great. But hey. Goals are to do a murder. Always. Always. Forever. So I'm trying to think about how much more of this game we have, right? And there were 12 souls that we needed to collect, right? We're almost done. This is gonna be our 7th one. What is all of this, and why is it here? Are you a mimic? You are. Quickly the hatches. I imagine we'll get this done, like, maybe this week? No secret 13th soul for sure. I am the secret 13th soul. Let's see. Okay. Well, okay, I guess I'm saying, like, Goat Friend told us that there were 12 that we needed to collect, right? So we are well on our way. The soul of the Pickles brand of pickles. You place down the scrumptious-looking cat treat and duck behind a pumpkin to hide. Within moments, you hear the telltale laughter of the cat over the market stalls. That's the best you can do? What do you take me for, a basic alley cat? You'll need more than a lump of garbage to catch me. Despite her lofty words, you see her eyes go wide and her tail flick as the scent of fish and catnip reaches her nose. Why, I'm the most sophisticated criminal underlord this world has ever say. What is that? Tuna? You give the signal to the unicorn, but see that the beast is still facing entirely the wrong direction. Must I do everything around here? Look at how cute she is, though! Hi, Evie. Slap the unicorn on its haunches, jolting it out of a daydream. Huh? What? Oh, right. The cat. The beast carefully takes aim, making sure to account for drag and wind speed direction. Alright, I've got her this time. By the light of the truth, I banish all lies from thee. A brilliant spark of rainbow light emits from the unicorn's horn and streaks towards the preoccupied cat. Got her! When the colorful smoke clears, you can't see hide nor hair of the cat. Only a smoldering pair of fancy leather boots remain near the statue. Wow, for a moment there I thought all that talk about your magic horn was pure hogwash. I mean, usually it doesn't have such an explosive effect. I only meant to expel the lies from her, but... I did see that Smiley added the gulp, and I hate it. I guess she was all lies. Didn't have a truthful bone in her body. Well, whatever the reason, I suppose she won't be blighting your market any longer. Yes, that's right. I can't wait for life to get back to normal. Thank you for all your help. Travis! Plug gulp. Terrible. Awful. Glance at one of the cat's boots slumped over on its side. Better go gather her up. Give me the boots. Pick up the smoking boots of the cat. A rainbow hue radiates off the leather. They smell strongly of feet and candy. The soul of the cat, though you suspect she may have 8 more lives left. Got cat skin boots. Cat quest is complete. Look at us go. Alright, it's time to go to the graveyard, and I am... spooked. Pick up... hold on. No, it's gone now. Okay. What are you doing? What have you done here? The woe emote from Smiley with the sunglasses on makes it look less surprised and more just super fed up, and I love it. I actually kind of adore it. Beautiful. Alright, we have to go to the manor, right? Gravekeeper asked us to go there. Should probably dig some of these up because I think we're short on bones. Never short on mandrakes, though. Yeah. Oh, so I was thinking, for this weekend, starting our new game, I think we'll probably do The Letter. It's a visual novel, and I've been having fun doing a lot of, like, the reading heavy games that we've been checking out recently. And since we're gonna be doing some, like, action-y stuff, during the evenings, I think it might be fun to counter that with reading weekends. I need to update the schedule to reflect that, but it did. Tiny Bunny ended way too soon. I was expecting that chapter to be much longer than it actually was. I mean, I think it ended at a good place. I don't think they needed to go any longer than they did, but I was looking forward to more of it. As you walk through the dilapidated estate, the temperature drops drastically. Floorboards and walls groan angrily as if the whole building is upset at your invasion. Also, thank you for the redeem, Travis. I can do a hydrate. Reminder, chat, also do a hydrate. Please and thank you. It is important to stay hydrated. With chapstick on it. Yeah. A gust of wind suddenly rushes up the staircase as though the house itself was drawing breath. An ear-splitting scream stirs dust from the rafters and makes your knees weak. That's definitely the melodious voice of a banshee, or I'm a chicken's aunt. We take a step forward, but ghostly, skeletal hands rise up through the creaking floorboards. They reach out, grasping, and you feel your spirit fade at their frigid touch. You're all lucky I misplaced my specter sickle, or I'd cut you down like weeds. Guess I should report back to the Gravekeeper anyway. What do I need for him? Antlered Ghost needs exorcism charm. Do I not? I guess I don't know what the Ghostly Grasp needs. I thought I did. I might be thinking of the crying ghost. Alright, Gravekeeper. Your mansion is full of hands. What do you know about hands? But before I ask you, I'm gonna grave rob a little bit. It's fine. I need it more than they do. They aren't even using it. Alright, sir. You're back. It's a demon from the underworld, isn't it? Oh, or maybe a lich come to summon up an army of darkness. Relax, it's just your run-of-the-mill banshee. Not all ghosts are the same, it's true. A banshee? I knew it! No wonder the dead have been so angry lately. How are they supposed to get any rest with all this racket? But a spirit only becomes banshee when it's been terribly wronged. Who used to live in that house? Alrightly no. It's been abandoned since before my time. Always was pretty creepy, though. Poultry ghosts are foul, please. Please. The place was so haunted that I couldn't get in for a better look. Good exorcism ought to clean it right up. This sort of stuff happens often. Why, just last year I had to deal with a ghoul that wouldn't stop breaking into the crypts. Darn feller was trying to find his long-lost love or something. The old man turns to rummage through his cluttered shack, looking for something. Anyways, eventually I had to call in the Grave Squad exterminators. They got that nasty ghoul rounded up before he befouled too many tombs. They left behind this, where to get to. Ah! He gave me this, to ward off any angry spirits that might be left over. He holds up a rusty-looking lantern. A ghost lamp? I thought those things got recalled because of all the possessions. I never heard nothing about that. Now, this thing ain't powerful enough for banshees, but it should keep the lesser spirits away. He gives the lamp a shake, but only a puff of purple smoke rises off the wick. Ah, jeez. Looks like I forgot to keep it fueled up. I'd go and get the gas myself, but the graveyard in this state. He shrugs feebly at you. You're hopeless. What does the ghost lamp need for fuel? He squints at the fading label on the back of the lantern. Let's see. Batwing, ghostly ectoplasm, crypt crawler silk. I need batwings, right? 3 possessions? Let's give her that ghostly ectoplasm. The phantom goo feels as if it's attempting to pull you down beneath the soil. Crypt crawler silk. Crypt crawler silk is thick and smells oddly of lilac. And now we need batwings, which... Where are those? I have 1. But I need 3. For a rat to fly, it would be upon such wings. Great, but where... Oops, don't want to go here. Do I need a snap trap for those? That seems wrong. No, bait stick. Right, I remember, because they're vampire bats. Right? Yeah, no, this game has, like, top quality, puns. We're here for? You idiot. Sorry. I should make more bait sticks. That's why I didn't make a ton. Because it requires sticks. I see. Dog. Do it. I like this dog because it's not trying to kill me. And that's appreciated. Alright. Sir, I got your wings. The webbed wings still flap of their own accord. Seem to have misplaced my reading glasses, so maybe you better prepare the mixture. You read off the well-worn instructions printed on the lantern. You're horridly confused and riddled with spelling mistakes. How did these contraptions ever make it to the market in the first place? You better stand back. If I do this wrong, things might get a little explodey. You grind together the gruesome ingredients into a waxy paste before rendering the whole mixture down over the graveyard's cooking fire. The odor coming from the wet, bubbling soup makes the hairs in your nose prickle, but you power through it and pour the ghastly oil into the lantern with a rusty funnel. The gravekeeper raises one caterpillar-like eyebrow at you. He doesn't have any eyebrows here, though. He has none unless what I assumed was the hair on the side of his head is an eyebrow. In which case, holy shit, my guy. His eyebrows are in his hands? No kaboom? Perfect. Give her a good shake. You swish the oil around inside the lamp and light the wick. Slowly, a bluish, unearthly glow fills the space around you. It's easier to raise them. I see. I understand. I understand. Take a look at that. Fresh as a daisy. Just wave it around, should any wayward ghoulies try to accost you. You should clear the way to that miserable banshee. If and maybe you could ask her what all the fuss is about. We can do that. Let's go. Time to wiggle a lantern at everything. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Wiggle! I am wiggling. Oh, it temporarily gets rid of them. I understand. They hate this! Hi! Oh, look at her. Scream! Come to taunt me as well! Taunt you? I come to find out why you're throwing such a tantrum. You raise the dead with your wailing. The race jaw drops to her collarbone, howling as her ghostly arms reach for you. Quickly raise the ghost lamp high, bathing the room in cold light. The spirit recoils away, covering her eyes with translucent hands. Yeah, it burns! Why do you torment me so? Oh, quit being so dramatic. Now tell me what's got you so upset. It's gone! That sneak, that thieving, plague-ridden rodent stole it. What's gone? Who stole it? My family's crypt was defiled by that wretched rat. My most precious treasure. My brooch. It's gone. I will not rest until I have it back. Ah, the rat stole the brooch from your crypt. That's enough to make anyone upset. Yes! It was stolen! Ripped from my breast. Where has it gone? You like a little banshee? She seems alright. Well, if the rat pilfered it off your remains, maybe he left behind a clue as to where he ran off to. But that crypt is jammed full of caskets. How will I know which box is yours? What was your name? I do not remember. Who was I? Everything is clouded by my suffering. Well, this was your house, right? There must be some relics in here that can point me in the right direction. Okay, I get it. I'll get to the bottom of this, then you can stop all this howling. I like her hair. Alright, what are we doing here? Were they victims? Were they a murderer? Ooh. This corroded picture frame is almost completely deteriorated. Can barely make out ghostly figures sitting together on the rotten canvas. A shame. Time has almost forgotten this family. Maybe I can restore just this little piece of them? I need restoration powder, don't I? No? Restorative idol. Right. Which is here. Necromantic charm. I need a pumpkin jack bone. Okay, good thing I still have some of these snag vines. Hold on, before we do that, is there anything else that I can look at, or is that the clue? This heavy box seems like it might contain important family documents, but it's locked tight. I doubt the key is anywhere around here. Better just make my own. You want a skeleton key, right? Yeah. I can do that. No, I can't. I can't do that. I don't have a mummified head. This is all extremely tragic. Sorry, I saw him zooming through the hallway and it scared the crap out of me. Is there anything else in here that will help me figure out who they are? This embossed shield looks like it might be a coat of arms, but the face is so badly encrusted with patina that you can't quite make out what it is. Good cleaning ought to get this looking spick and span. Purification water recipe. How do I make that? Water, ectoplasmic goo. I need 2 more waters. Okay. We're gonna need some exorcism charms, as well as soothing runes, which is fine. I can make these. Sorry, Lamia is snoring, and I can hear her past my headphones. And it's a lot. Whatever she's doing, it's a lot. I have a mummified head. Great. That means I can make a skeleton key. I think. I only need the one, right? Yeah! 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 That was upstairs, though, right? Let's go. Who's in here? Oh. Open up! You crack open the chest to find a collection of moldy papers and bills, but a heavy book at the bottom looks promising. In the cracked leather-bound tome, you browse through long forgotten obituaries, and we mourn her death, the third of her siblings to pass. Much beloved, she will long be remembered for her beautiful singing voice and tireless pursuit of justice. Sounds like our banshee, the third to die. That will mean that her casket will be the third one in a row. Great. So we need water, and we need something else that I've already forgotten. Water and goo. Right. Put that there, and we need the pumpkin jack bone. And I should also do that so we can get water, because there's a well nearby. No, excuse me, that's weird water. I would like just some regular water. Preferably. Please and thank you. Where else can I get water? I know there's a couple of other locations here. Literally right here. Okay, 4 should be enough. Assumably. Ghostly ectoplasm. Fine. We can do that. And then we also needed this. For that, we needed wicker work and the pumpkin jack bone. Okay. This leads us to the forest. This leads us to the fields. Right? Yeah, fieldward path. Perfect. Perfect. Just wander past all of the gnomes. And then we'll do a murder. And you know what? We have a second one available to us. Please. Ah, ah, ah. Ah. Run. Ah. Good. Great. We've done it. This. Necromantic charm. Restorative idol. Done. But we still need purification water. I think we get the goo from the antlered ghosts. So we'll go explode an antlered ghost, which there is one in the house. And that's the only thing that we need. Not me being concerned that I'm gonna, like, attack the wrong thing. This is the wrong way. Nope, that is the docks. Where is the path to the graveyard? It's here, because this is the well. I understand. Hi, I'm bad at directions. Alright. Actually, you know what? Let's just... I know there's some, like, right over here. Also, it's less foggy now? There he is. Ghostly ectoplasm. Perfect. Which means we can make purification water. And then also put that away, re-equip that. And let's go. Back to the mansion. Do all the things. It's gonna be great. Yes. Let's go ahead and yeah, something with a little more zest. Oh. Okay. That wasn't me using it. That was it telling me that that's what I needed. You clean away the grit and grime to reveal a proud lion staring back at you. His crest looks like it matches one of the burial rooms in the crypt. Cool. So then to figure out the picture. Let's do that restoration. Color and light flood back into the faded painting to reveal a content-looking family. You recognize one of the younger girls by her shock of hair and brooch on her chest. That must be our wailing wraith, a granddaughter by the looks of it. So she must be on the lower tiers of the crypt. Think that's everything I need to know. The banshee's body is buried under the crest of the lion. She's a granddaughter, so she'll be on the bottom row, and she was the third one to pass away. Lion, bottom row. Third crypt. Lion, bottom row. Third crypt. Let's go. Let's go look at a body. Ah, you're back! Find out anything about our predicament? Seems like you've got a grave robber on the loose. Banshee had a brooch stolen from her family crypt. A grave robber? Ah, damn those despicable degenerates. That shouldn't have been as hard to say as it was. With the increase in ghosts, I haven't been able to do my nightly patrols. I need to get to the crypt and find your body. The thief might have left something behind. Well, good luck. That place has more spiders than I have liver spots, so you'll understand if I stay behind. Sure. My guy. Something tells me that even if there weren't spiders in the crypt, you still would not come with me. So, you know. That's a thing. Where? There it is. It's down there. Let's go. That's the boar. That's an owl. That's sneeze. Where's the lion? Lion is here. There's a crypt crawler there. There's a crypt crawler there. Ox. Thank you. Hi, I'm Forever Sneezy. We got some stuff. Get away from me, crypt crawler. And cap chances are there's a corpse in here as well. Very likely to contain a corpse. This doesn't seem like the right casket. You dig your nails underneath the loose plaque and begin to pull the rusty bolts. The rusty bolts pop off the corners of the end cap as the whole thing rips off from the mossy wall. You toss away the grave cover and peer inside the dark hollow, holding your lamp aloft. Dozens of small, beady eyes blink back at you. Rats. You quickly jump aside as a torrent of vermin come pouring out from the coffin. Filthy little biters, come to pilfer more graves. Squeaking and hissing, they flow like some lumpy liquid, rushing back towards the entrance. Get the feeling that these rats are far more organized than any normal pest. Where you walk to, little devils? Running back to your master, perhaps? That's far too many. Good job, Fruity. Hey, since you got a win, that means you should probably stop playing forever so you don't lose that streak, right? You gotta know if you fought Luna. All these rats, though. Not a single sploot. These guys are not moving near fast enough. You track the swarm of rats into thorny bramble, their bodies whirling in a verminous mass. This does not, however, seem to be their permanent nest. If you could only flush them out, perhaps they would flee to their true source. Good spark ought to set this dry tinder alight. Can't hide from me, beasts. You want a cinder box. I can do that. Check it out. The brush is quickly subsumed in tongues of flame, scattering the rats beneath. The frenzied rout is not without order, though. In a wave of fur and claws, they scramble through the graveyard towards their next hiding place. Let's go! I just don't want to deal with any ghosts. Let's go ahead and set that lantern up. The horde of rats pour between the bars of this crumbling mausoleum, swirling in a gyre just out of reach. Once more, they have found temporary refuge. Such a closed-in space seems ripe for a good smoking. They won't be able to hold their breath for long. We need to use smoke pellet. We're just pulling out all the stops for these guys, aren't we? Silly bison. Let's go! Smoke, emitting from the pellet is thick and concentrated. Even though they are below the worst of it, the choking fumes are enough to flush the rats out. Once more they rush forth, this time fleeing towards the shadow of a ruined church. Flood of rats squeeze through the bars of a great brass gate and disappear into the ruins of a squat, abandoned church. Heavy chain binds up the gate, and the rusted padlock is well beyond accepting any sort of key. Something more potent will be needed to open it. Acidic unguent recipe? What? Oh, look at that. I have practically everything I need for it. I have everything I need for it. We're doing so good. Let's go! The iron of the padlock wheezes and protests as it melts away into blackened goo. The chain falls away and you push open the gate to the churchyard beyond. Okay, but is there anything cool out here that I need to nab? Can I steal anything out here? Consider. And inside is the best disco you've ever seen. No. Where's Crabman? I miss him. Let's go ahead and steal that. Hello? Hardcore to the mega. Love Egghead. So much. Don't think we understand how much I love Egghead. Oh? You attempt to pick up the candlestick, but find it attached to some mechanism inside the altar. A latch flips and you watch a stack of boxes slide aside to reveal a hidden crack in the wall. I really need to replay Disco Elysium. Alright, what do we got? Look at the rat! Hold on. I need to get closer to him. Look at him! Hey, who in blazes are you? Who let you in, huh? I let myself in. You should really hide your secret lair a bit better. Though I must admit, this is quite the collection you've acquired here. Why, what's it to you? You looking to make a trade? We got whatever you need, sister. You can pay the price, that is. As a matter of fact, I'm looking for an old antique brooch, and I heard you're the one to talk to. Yeah, we got plenty of brooches. Any of these beauties catch your eye? Berman flips open his cloak, and you see it's lined with rows and rows of jewelry. Can I interest you in a sundial? You lean in for a closer look. The items all look like priceless family heirlooms, but you can't pick out the one belonging to the Banshee. I'm not sure. I'll need to confer with my friend as to which is the right one. Breton narrows his eyes suspiciously and hides his wearer back inside his cloak. Just who is this friend of yours? Why, she's the original owner, of course. She would very much like her property returned to her. No deal. We don't make trades with the dead. But you're happy enough to steal from them? Let me just go tell my friend where your little hideout is. I'm sure she'll be more persuasive than myself. Fool, this place is sacred ground. No bad spirits can enter here. Now get out before we pick you clean. Alright. No need to be crass. Turkey gizzard stone. We haven't really used those, have we? I don't know why my voice cracked there. This is fine. Excuse me. Shall we? No spirits may cross the threshold, eh? Well then, I'll just have to invite one in myself. I can do a hydrate. Thanking them for the redeem. Reminder, everyone also do a hydrate. It's important to drink water. Good water. You eye the flat surface of the barren altar. It looks like the perfect place to conduct a seance. Also, excuse me. I am just a touch snotty. Because of course I am. Seance! Spirit board recipe! Let's go! Where is it? There it is. Necromantic charm, a wicked gemstone. I need dog hair. And more wicker work. I need more sticks! Always need more sticks. Why do we always... We never have enough sticks, ever. Not even once. It's fine. I was so proud of myself for having enough pumpkin jack bones in order to make the thing that we do. Sticks do everything, honestly. We need to be better about getting sticks. But the sticks need to be more prevalent. Hold on, we're gonna take the shortcut, which I guess at this point is not so much a shortcut. Because we are having to travel back, but it's easier than having to go through 4 other screens. Because look, nope, that's fields. Forest is right here. This is fine. It's fine. We'll get some sticks. We'll pick up some other stuff too, I guess. This is fine. Not the yawns. No yawns. No yawns ever. Ever. Stick. Stick. I liked the idea of a stick Roomba. Here for it. Alright, so we needed necromantic charm, which needs wicker work. We need the 1 wicker work. Great. Necromantic charm, done. We also needed dog hair. But to do that, we need a soporific potion. So we get the soporific morsel. There is a dog in these woods. I'm not ever going to play Super Auto Pets, Fruity. I'm sorry. Listen. It's not gonna happen. Not even once, dog. Dog. Eat this. Eat this, dog. Thank you, dog. Not even once. No. No. Bad. There. Okay. What else do I need? Is that everything? That's everything! We got our spirit board! I am playing Wytchwood! Hi, Rena! Long time no see! How are you doing? How is it going? We have been playing Wytchwood for a little while. We're fairly far in. Gonna take care of the dang rat. It's gonna be great. We've already done a murder on the fish. Screw that guy. That's a good fish. Fruity is, are you gonna be collecting fish emotes? Aww. Well, I hope it gets a little better. Sorry, it's being a little funky for you. We're happy to have you here, though. Alright, into the church we go. Is that a global one? more fish for Fruity. Where do they want me to do this? Where do they want me to do this? Where am I doing this? When does it come out? I haven't been keeping track of Pokemon, like, at all. But that's super exciting! Soon? Is it soon? Barely 10 days away! 10, 11 days. Soon. Very soon. That's very exciting. Nice! Dope! Hold on. What are we doing here? Journal. I wish it would automatically track purchase sacred ground spirit skin. The only way to get the Banshee inside is to give her a call. Use the item. Where? Where? Where do you want me to use this? It's not down here. You don't want me to use it down here. Okay. I get that though. They're just like impatiently waiting for a game to come out. I definitely purchased Elden Ring like at the end of December as like a Christmas gift for myself. But it doesn't come out until the end of February, and I'm just sitting here being like, I need to play. I need to play it. You close your eyes and place your hands on the planchette of the spirit board. Concentrating hard, you try to focus your thoughts towards the haunted mansion. Hello? Can you hear me? Show me a sign. The planchette begins to twitch and move, slowly tracing out letters on the board. Who is this? Oh, come now. Who else would it be? I'm calling to let you know I found where the rat is. You might want to come down here and speak to him. The lights flicker within the halls and dim down until you are drenched in total darkness. Only a blood-red glow throbs from the altar. Wind rushes through the church, and you can hear the squealing of rats as they dive for cover. On the gale come the screams of the dead, reverberating through the halls. You're excited for Dark Souls 2? 2. The second of the Dark Souls 2 installations. Spirit board shudders and splits with the noise, and a skeletal hand claws its way out from the peephole of the cracked planchette. He is here! I can smell him! Right through that crack in the wall, actually. The vengeful spirit howls and flies straight through your body as she sweeps down into the rat's hideout. That's chilly. Wait for me, I need to see how this ends. Let's go watch a rat explode, I guess. That's 2 souls in an hour. We're doing good. You dare take from me? How did you... Wait, it was just a simple misunderstanding. I didn't... Even in your hour of judgment, you lie? The rat's bulging eyes lock onto you in desperation. This is your doing, isn't it? You let her in here. I am merely helping to settle a dispute. You thought all your grave robbing wouldn't come with consequences? Face justice for your crimes, thief. The dead have come for you. The Banshee whirls around like a hurricane, drawing with her in an innumerable host of ghosts and spirits. No! No! Get off us, you wretches! You are dead! Finders keepers! Spectral claws grab onto the rat and his verminous minions and drag them squealing into the underworld. With the crack of thunder, the howling wind evaporates. Not a single rat remains. A column falls over the Banshee as she reaches down and picks up one of the scattered brooches left on the floor. My brooch! It's back! It's safe! I can finally sleep. She clutches her treasure to her breast and looks at you with a final crooked smile before fading away in a glimmer of ghostly smoke. In the eerie silence of the cave, you see something squirming in the debris. You brush aside some pilfered treasure and uncover a writhing mass of pink rat tails, tangled together like worms. Ugh, looks like they got all knotted up trying to escape. Rat King! The soul of the rat. Great. You sense the souls of the fish, cat, rat, and ram pulse with captive malignancy. Rat King! The goat will be wanting to take custody of these four. Let's not keep him waiting. Rat King. Gotta love it. Alright. It is time to turn the ghosts. Or turn the souls into the goats. Let's go. I miss Goat Friend. We gotta go say hi to Goat Friend. It's important that Goat Friend knows that we're doing what he wants. Goat Friend, look. I have gifts for you. Gifts for the Goat Friend. Goat Friend. Gotta pet the goat. Gotta pet the goat. Goat. Goat snorts with delight at your approach. Wonderful. You've returned with more souls. These were even more troublesome than the last. I will be glad to be rid of them. If you would be so kind, bring them to the shrine. Then we'll be one step closer to concluding our business together. Hear that bronze bell? Clanging of the ram's bronze bell rings out in your ears. Many voices chanting in unison, grabbing hands, trampling feet. The machinations of the cat unfold before you as her boots burn away before the shrine. Pieces moving on a game board, cheats, laughter, lies. Rat knot. Sensations of the rat fill your mind. Tiny feet scratching crumbling walls, digging cold earth, snapping brittle bones, taking, stealing, hiding. Captain's cap. You hold your breath as the salty feeling of the fish washes over you. Sound of creaking wood, jagged barnacles, crashing waves, fading light, betrayal. 4 more. We have 4 more left. Your shoulders straighten as if a great weight is lifted from them. The maiden stirs in her sleep, troubled by fitful dreams. Only 4 more souls left until our contract is fulfilled. But I expect it has been a tiring day. Come, you should get some sleep. Yes, I could rest. It's sleepy time for the witch. Excuse me. Speaking of straightening your shoulders. Alright. You step out into the morning mist and find the goat with a mouthful of grass. Terrible tasting stuff. I don't understand this creature's appetite. With luck, you won't have to suffer the mortal whims of a farm animal much longer. After I collect the last souls, you can go back to the void from which you came. The void can wait. You're much better company anyway. But you are correct. There's only one leg left of a 2-hour journey. The final 4 souls have revealed themselves to me. Where are they this time? 3 linger in spaces you've already tread. The village, the market, and the fields. And the 4th resides far to the north, on the cold slopes of the mountain. I will track them down, no matter where they try to hide. Probably. Marvelous. We've got the hogs, the stag, the hawk, and the wolf. Okay. It's void time. Let's run through the forest real quick, because we could do with more sticks, right? Always could do with more sticks. And then let's start with the hogs, I guess. Since they're first on the list. And I do kind of know where to go for that, because I saw one of the hogs the last time we were in the village. Well, one of the last times that we were in the village. There was one who was like standing outside a path and was like, "No, workers only." Might have been a couple of sessions ago, but we'll do the hogs first. After we've collected some twigs. How many do we have? 13. It's not bad. We go through 6 so fast, though, because they're used in everything. Let's go ahead and get some more of these. Right. I am happy with that for now. So I guess let's head off to... Hi, Dougie! How's it going, friend? How are you doing? How are things? Fruity. Fruity, please. You know what it is. You know what the command is. This is the mountains. This is not where I want to be. Where is it? No,
excuse
it's a
me,
new area.
mommy. Sorry,
There you
mommy.
go.
Sorry, mommy. Sorry.
How's it going, Dougie? How are you doing? It's just Dougie. It's just Dougie. Fruity is being intentionally obtuse about it. Don't worry. One of the many reasons we love Fruity here. For sure, definitely. 100% exactly what you did. Absolutely. Uh-huh. Yep. Uh-huh. That's the graveyard. Well, good on you for getting it done. Or at least starting to get it done. Props! I understand putting everything off, though. Sometimes you just need to not do the thing. No shame in that. But also, good job. What? Who's this? Dagnabbit! What do you mean, what do they need too young for the tavern? Plenty big enough to go in there. Hello there, child. What are you so perplexed about? Child! I'm no child! I'm a fierce, full-muscled man! Puffs out his tiny chest proudly. Oh, that must explain the little patches of fuzz on your chin there. His cheeks flush red in embarrassment as he tries to reassert his dominant facade. Hey, it's rude to stare. Anyway, I just shaved. I knew I should have let my beard grow out more. Crotchety old barkeep says I look too young to go into the tavern. What business do you have in a dank place like that? A lad like you shouldn't be wasting his allowance on ale. I'm not wasting my... I don't get an allowance. I'm a brave hunter, or at least I will be as soon as I catch my first quarry. And what exactly are you hunting? Only the biggest, baddest beast of them all. The wolf! Do you know how many houses he's blown down? Not to mention all the missing maidens. Missing maidens, you say? Everyone knows that treacherous dog has a sweet tooth for pretty damsels. He lures them out into the dark woods so he can gobble them up. Excuse me, are we talking about Wolfman here? Hey, game? Hey, game. You... Hey, game. You can't just casually reference Darkwood like this. You can't do that. Town guard's too scared to help, so it's up to me to put a stop to his terror. And he's inside that tavern. It's time to play more Darkwood. Right now! See, even the kid agrees. Shame there's no minors allowed. Let me have a look at this feral fellow and see if he's as bad as you claim. Well, I guess I'll just post up here until he comes out. And we'll give him a taste of my blunderbuss. I guess we're starting the wolf, honestly. I was gonna try and get us to the pig, but... Hey, game? I'm trying to track this one. Thank you. Let's get into the Thirsty Gargoyle. Let's go! Holy shit! Hi, wolf! Find the wolf looming over a frightened-looking barmaid. Come on, Red, why don't you join me for a midnight snack? Multiplayer Darkwood would be so good. Real talk. Also, yeah, he large. Hi. I already told you I can't. I've got work to do. I love her. I love her. Sure, your boss won't mind one bite. I mean, bit. Don't make me beg now. Please, I really have to get back to work. But you're just so delectable. A real feast for the eyes. You accidentally tread on the wolf's tail. Oh, excuse me, sir.
That's your motivation!
Jumps up with a yelp and spins to face you angrily. Oh! Watch where you're stepping, you old hag. Terribly sorry. Couldn't tell you apart from the dirty rug on the floor. Bares his fangs at you menacingly. What did you say to me? While the wolf is distracted, the young maiden slips away and disappears into the gloom of the tavern. Oh, now look what you've done! Where'd she go? Shoves his way past you to go prowling around the bar. Huntsman tale rings true. Better find where that barmaid got to before she becomes dinner. Holy shit, he's so stompy and so grabby! My guy! I thought the ox was intimidating. Okay. Hey. You see the maid's red hood poking out from behind a wooden barrel. Oh, it's just you. Thanks for helping me out back there. I was getting a little cramped. It's hard enough serving meat all day, but to have to deal with that slavering wolf too? It does seem like the relentless type. Are you alright? Just a bit rattled. I was ready to smash a tray over his snout if he got any closer, but I'm sure that would have landed me in hot water with the boss. Wolf's turning over every table and bar stools, trying to sniff you out. Great. I guess I'll just hide back here and, reorganize the storeroom or something. I admire your sense of self-preservation, but maybe there's a more permanent solution to this problem. I know a young huntsman looking to prove himself. Perhaps we can lure the wolf outside and deal with him there? Sure, but how? You can count me out as bait, because I'm done being dog food. I doubt that mutt can see very well in this dingy place. I might be able to fashion a convincing enough likeness to trick him. You eye a nearby coat rack. That ought to make a good starting place. Well, whatever you're gonna do it fast. I'm losing out on tips. This poor girl. Sold coat rack. I'm sorry, this is called toward a likeness. Sold coat rack ought to serve as a solid frame. You won't need much to fool the wolf, but the enchantment will take a special touch. Key to my heart, sewing kit, protective talisman. Okay. I think we need to go do a murder on a couple of skeeters. No, I have enough snoots to make that thing. Great. What do I need for the key to my heart? I need a skeleton key, which I need a mummified head for. We need a dryad fruit and oceanic oil, which we get from barnacles, and we need a great deep one. For that, we need weird water. Please! I have to do like 20 steps to make anything now. Wait, who's this? What are you doing? Pockets right for the plucking. Oh, okay. So many steps. What can I get you? Information if you have it on tap. What do you know about your patron, the wolf? I know enough to keep my mouth shut and mind my work. That one's trouble, and you'll still steer clear if you know what's good for you. I got sticks. We got sticks right now. Should get more, but we got sticks. We're good on sticks for right now. It's everything else we're short on. Thank you for the lurk, Bunno. So you just turn a blind eye to his behavior? Hey, I'm just trying to make it through the end of the night in one piece. Are you gonna order something or not? Oh, you're so helpful, sir. Get me out of here. need to go to the graveyard. And we need to go to the sea, the docks. It's dock time. Because we need a skipper. Hey. And we need more barnacles. We need a skipper scale and barnacles. Let's do the dock first, since I think we're closest to it. No, we're very close to the graveyard. Let's go to the graveyard first. We need some weird water, which I guess I don't need to make the weird water, do I? Because I can get it from the well by the mansion? Which is very nice, not having to waste my time with that. So maybe I don't need as much as I thought I do. We got our weird water. What do I need for that protective charm? Excuse me. Paste. Need more dog hair. And I need regular water. Okay. Oh goodness. We were doing this first. We still need that skipper scale. Okay. It is time to go to the docks. No, because I can get the stupid heads here. Oh my goodness. There. One step at a time. Where are all the floating heads? They need salt, don't they? What do you give me? You give me tears, which, fine, great. Not what I need, though. Salts. I need salts for these guys, don't I? Which I do have, apparently. I have a single thing of salts. That gives us the noggins we need. Cool. So... do I need a necromantic charm for this? No. I needed that for this, but I'm out of bones. Oh my god. Okay, this is fine. It's fine. The likelihood of us doing a third murder for today is very slim anyway. We've got a half an hour left to stream. I was super hopeful though. Well, I guess technically we're still not terribly far from it. From the possibility of that happening. Let's get that key. We need dryad fruit, and to do that we need a cinder box. Okay. Let's get rid of that. We need to go to the docks. It is dock time. Time to dock! And then we can run back to the forest, pick up more sticks, and also grab some other stuff while we're there. What else do we need? I'll figure it out. I'll remember eventually. Hey, Skipper. Hey, Skipper. Give me your scales. Thank you. Dog hair. Did I make this? Didn't. Because I'm out of water. Right. We have our tidal tincture, which we need for the deep one. Time to talk docks! I am gonna steal all the scales, every single one of them. What's your favorite kind of dog? Is Rainbow Fish the game? Absolutely. 100%. We are the terrible, terrible friends that steal all of Rainbow Fish's scales because we're dumb and jealous and mean. My favorite kind of dock is the kind that I can hide under. So a pier. I guess what I'm getting at is I like piers. Piers count as docks? Or are they two separate things? Rainbow Fish 100% has the worst message. Absolutely. I need more barnacles. I remember really liking Rainbow Fish as a kid. And then I was like, wow, this... And like, as I grew up, I was just like, this fucking sucks. This is bad. Giving trees sweet, but the message it sends is not ideal. I don't know. I think... Appreciate the fact that a lot of us have been given the, the foresight to look at the stuff that we liked as children and be like, I really enjoyed this, but also, wowee, not great. Don't give literal parts of yourself to people. Conversely, don't wear yourself so thin for other people that you lose yourself. Pier is like a sidewalk. A dock is like a parking lot. Fair. Good distinction, I suppose. Donating a kidney is fine, but don't donate both. You need at least one. I don't know that I'm familiar with Missing Piece by Shel Silverstein. I like looking at it like that, Dougie. That's a good way of looking at it. I think a lot of people tend to interpret it as the I just gotta keep giving side of thing, as opposed to like, hey, don't just keep taking. Hey, people need parts of themselves and also need breaks. Yeah, I like that reframing of it. That's a good way of looking at it, Dougie. Thank you for sharing. Scenery interpretation of the Giving Tree where the tree doesn't let the boy chop her down. I think I've seen that one too. Which is a great way of letting people know, hey, you can have boundaries. You can say no to things. But yeah, I do like the reframing of just like, don't keep taking from folks. Got that. Need the fruit. The dryad fruit. To the forest. To the docks. Let's go. Cinderbox. Dryads, where are you? Hey, dryads. Hey, dryads. We also need water. I need water. Water and dryads and twigs. Oh my. Is there not dryad around here? Hello? Can we just find the well? Where is the well? Not here. No, it is here? That's a stick. Here's the well. With the man who's just always heavy breathing. The tree who set healthy boundaries. That is a good title for that. My goodness. Let's do this. And I need that, but I need milk. I need... She needs some milk! Do need some milk. Not for me, though. Milk for my family. Milk, 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 milk. Cow? Cow? Where is cow? Smiley! Hi, friends. How's it going? How you doing? I'm just gonna squeeze these eggs out of this chicken. It's fine, don't worry about it. Hi. Also, thank you for finding that, Allie. You should post that in Discord, if you haven't already. I heard it! I heard the cow! Where is cow? Nice! I was there for a little bit, and it was very lovely. I am super big time enjoying co-working smiley hours. Like, usually by the time that you start doing them, it's like my wake-up time. My, like, for real get out of bed and do stuff time, but it's really nice to be able to, like, get everything done, like, with you and everyone. It's good. It's very good. Yeah, good fun times. What are we doing? Yes. Yeah! Nah, it's great. Keep doing it. Keep doing that thing that you've been doing. I really like it. Oh, it's nice because it's like I can just kind of like wander around to get my food done, do some of the tidying that I need to do, make sure that I'm taking breaks in between all of it. It's good. It's good. Yeah! It was a good choice doing the co-working streams. I'm just happy that everyone's been enjoying it, and that it's, yeah. And you seem to be enjoying it too, Smiley, which is obviously, like, one of the more important aspects of that, is that you are having fun with it. But it's good. We all appreciate it. Protective talisman, that's the other thing that I need. Dog hair. Wicker work? Friends supporting friends. And however that looks. Nah, is good. But hi, friend. Nice! Well, thank you for the lurk! I appreciate you. Go get your food. Rest. Take it easy today. Yeah. I don't know what I'm saying at this point. I'm also just kind of like vibing today. More so than usual. Like I said, I feel like I actually got some like rest last night, which was really nice. And so I'm just like, I'm just here. Just happy to be here. It's good. It makes me happy to see that everyone else is also just, even if things aren't going great, you're making the best of things. Okay, where did you throw your fruit? Did you not give me any fruit? You did. Good. Great. He's just gonna be a little stompy over there for a bit. He's fine. Travis! No pickle brand pickles. Get out of here. Go do your lurk. Thanks for being here, friends. Okay, we've got the key to the heart. We've got the sewing kit, and now we need the protective talisman, but to do that, we need dog. I need this motherfucking goblin to go away. It's fine. He hit and ran. Whatever. Protective or Wicked Gemstone, Protective Talisman. Perfect. That's all of the things that we need. What are we doing? Puppet. We're doing the puppet in the tavern. Ooh, stretch. Okay. Vague stretch. Village. I am stuck in the corner. Get me out of here. Oh, that's much closer to the portal than I thought it was. That's cool. That wolf is so stompy. Alright, you won't need much to fool the wolf, but the enchantment will take a special touch. Get that key to my heart. Tap the key and hear a lovely tone. This will power the puppet's heart and give it a romantic allure. Get that sewing kit. You take stock of the bits and bobs needed for sewing together a convincing physique. There should be enough spare rags in the storeroom for ample stuffing. Protective Talisman. If this is to survive an attempt on the wolf, it will need all the magical assistance it can get. You place the last stitch against the mannequin's doll-like smile. Its plump head hangs against the coat rack, no livelier than a reed in the wind. Are you sure this will work? I know the wolf doesn't have the keenest eyes, but he's no fool either. You grin underneath your cauldron and extend a gnarled finger towards the red hood hanging on the coat rack. It will work just fine, my dear. A hound relies on his sense of smell more than anything else. A spare cloak of yours will complete the illusion. You throw a hood over the puppet's form and utter a dark curse beneath your breath. A great tremor passes through the building, shaking its foundation, making the lights flicker. Look at how cute it is! Sorry, we gotta... Ah! An eerie light fills the room, illuminating the puppet's body. Its head cocks ever so slightly to hold you in an unsettling gaze. It's alive! Nope, it's a very good puppet! I'd better deploy this puppet out of the wolf's sight. This back room should do fine. Then I'll simply walk it over to that salivating carnivore and strike up a conversation. It's a very good puppet. Look at her! Look at her! Ah! I am puppets! I love her! I don't want to send her into danger, but I have to. Just gonna keep screenshotting. Look at how precious she is! Guide the puppet on its invisible strings and bump it into the wolf. Well, 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 look who's come back. You couldn't hide from me forever. You contort the puppet in a flirtatious twist and blow a kiss from the doll's stitched lips. What do you say you and me get out of this stinking tavern, eh? Take you up to my place, let you simmer in the, moonlight. You do your best to make the puppet flutter its eyelashes seductively, but the lids get stuck halfway. Thankfully, the wolf is paying too much attention to his hunger to notice. Don't be shy now, I'll show you the night of your life. It'll be a real treat, I promise. The wolf caresses the doll's burlap cheek with a clawed finger, grinning from ear to ear. The puppet returns his affection with a vacant, button-eyed stare. I've just got to get a few things prepared. Meet me at my cabin in the Darkwood, just north of the swamp. It's a very dangerous road, so don't think about running off. But don't worry, I'll be watching you every step of the way. You know, to make sure you're safe. He licks his chop enthusiastically. Lashing his bushy tail back and forth, the wolf struts out of the tavern, as if he had won 1,000 gold coins. You pilot the doll back to the storeroom, and it collapses into a bundle at your feet, ready for its next assignment. You did it! That wolf is finally out of my hair. Thank you so much. Maybe now I can finally get some work done around here. I didn't hear a gunshot from our brave huntsman. Let's go see if this ambush went awry. Take care, my dear. Don't let the dogs get you, or keep you down. I love this puppet. I love this puppet so much. And I want nothing bad to ever happen to her. The young hunter is practically shaking in his boots when you find him outside the tavern. I couldn't do it. Brought that wolf right to you and you chickened out? What kind of hunter are you? Did you see him? He's huge and hairy. He gave one look at my little blunderbuss and howled with laughter. How am I even supposed to scratch that monster with this puny pop gun? Sounds like you need some better ammo. As I recall, wolves have a particular distaste for silver. By Abraham's beard, you're right. What I need is a silver bullet. Guess what I can do? I can get you that silver bullet. Oh my god. There's a lot here that I need. What is this? Silver fox fur, gold coins, and a puzzle box. I also need one of these. We gotta go to the mountain. We have to go to the mountain. Should we go take a peek at the mountain and then call it there for the day? Need one of everything and it's ridiculous. It's fine. We'll make it happen. It makes sense. We are very late game. There are twigs here? I mean, there's other things too, but we have twigs. No, don't bite me! Fucking hell. It's fine. It's all fine. I'm gonna put the puppet down here. We're gonna use this. What do you need? Frozen treat and some shears. How do I make a frozen treat? Soporific morsel, frostling snow, and chilled mushroom. Alright, listen here, game. You are requiring me to do so many steps now. And that's fine. But also... there are bunnies here, and I need to do a murder on all of them. I think I have some snap traps? Of course, like the Bob Seger album. Oh no! Gonna get very comfy and cozy up here. It's gonna be great. Let that bunny go. Get on my trap. It did not hesitate at all. It said, I am done here. Horrifying. Give me these peppers. I like the snow level, though. It's pretty. What are you? Frostaling. Curious to its own detriment. Often relies its older guardians to keep it from harm. Often relies on its older guardians. I see. Snow snare. How do I make that? Whoop! I can do that. Come here. Come back. I need you to get got. That buddy exploded. Give me this. Yeah, there's a lot here. No less crudely constructed than the other snowmen that surround it, something is nevertheless off about this one in particular. Whether it's the too many limbs, the stitched mouth, or the trio of antlers, it irresistibly beckons your touch. And as soon as your fingertips touch its cold surface, it falls completely to pieces. Oh, but I liked that snowman. He was cool looking. Alright. Yeah, I imagine we'll have this done sometime this week. Probably Friday. He is exploded. What do you need? Also a snow snare. Can I... Come here, buddy. I'm still very much enjoying this game. It's great and wonderful. And aside from the twig issue, it's not too terribly difficult to, like, make sure you've got all of the supplies that you need. Which is nice. Up on the slopes of the mountain, you spot a camp of dangerous-looking fur trappers sharpening their spears. You're don't need to bother them just yet. Is that how we're gonna get rid of the wolf? No. No, because he's in the swamp. And we've got a silver bullet coming his way. Alright. Can I make some of the things that we need? I can almost make a frozen treat. Can't do this just yet because I don't have a cinder box. Do now. But we don't have a red feather. Fine, whatever. Let's make some wicker works. Let's get some snap traps going. Let's get as many red feathers as we possibly can. Perfect. So yeah, like I said, we'll have this, we'll probably have this finished sometime this week, which will be very exciting. Yeah. Melting pot. Cool. Let us go ahead and exit out. We're never gonna run out of video games, Fruity. Not ever. Not even once. Listen. Listen. Not even once. Let us find someone to raid into. Consider. We find a friend to hang out with. I have a lot of people on right now. My goodness. Alright. I've got Panda. Ghost Panda doing some Kingdoms of Amalur. Call Me Primavera is doing some Witcher. Emageddon is doing some Spyro. Angry Barman's doing some Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. Just Ryan and the Hot Cross are doing some Dead by Daylight. Any of these sound good? Does anybody have any recommendations? I did get new closed captions. They're even on my live screen too. We're trying out a new program because I got annoyed with the other one we were using. And I think I like this one better, and I think I like them just being on screen at all times. Yeah. Shall we? I'm trying to think. We haven't raided Panda in a hot minute. Y'all want to go hang out with Ghost Panda? Or does anybody have any recommendations? I guess I should probably get our raid messages up as well. Alright. If you're gonna go raid our lovely friend, Ghost Panda Zero, with us. There are the raid messages. The first one is for anyone. It has global emotes on it. Otherwise, the second one, it has our channel emotes. Alright. Yeah, thanks for all hanging out. I am so happy to be back on a regular schedule again. I will be back this evening at 6 p.m. Central to start The Evil Within. I have never played it before, so that's going to be very exciting. Yeah, as per usual, take care of your dang selves. We'll see you later. Have a good rest of your time zone. And... Yeet. Later, y'all.